I just try to do what I'm supposed to do, man. I'm not so sure about that, Lewis. I'm not so sure about that, bro. I know you read that in a book, but there's not really a way that you can know that for sure. It's not what the Bible says. Very beginning of Psalm starts out that worldly people dominate in the world. So according to Psalms, worldly people who are selfish and without God. I mean, are you trying to say that Epstein has great karma? Uh-oh. So what about, like, the pedophile elite, bro? Are you saying they have good karma? See, that's where it all starts to fall apart. Yeah, a lot of people would be doing a lot worse. You see how Lewis's worldview, like, benefits the elite? Are you starting to understand why the elite are neoplatonists and Gnostics? That's basically saying that, like, rulers deserve to rule, elite deserve to have their money, and poor people deserve to be poor, dude. I've been very complimentary of you, Lewis, but I think it's about time for a smearing, bro. I read everything you told me to read. I watched all the videos. Sorry, man. Western Christianity, that's where peace came from. That's where, like, the highest way of life came from, and it's been subverted by paganism. The pagans dug their claws back into it through the lodges, and I'm pretty sure there's a really good chance that we're just all going to watch it burn, man, and people are going to try to be the best they can be while it all burns down, but, I mean, I'm not saying I don't have any bad karma, but it's God's judgment. And the pagans, you know, they talk about these objective morals, but then they say that, like, it wasn't created by anything. Like, they're just there. The pagan worldview is like, you know, there is objective right and wrong, but they don't talk about where it came from. Like, it's just there for no reason, eternally. You're making a lot of statements, Lewis, but why? I get it. You've read all these, like, Platonic books, but you just say things with no authority behind it. Your soul is eternal, according to who? Your thoughts, words, and actions shape who you are, according to who, bro? You're just... You're begging the question, basically. Natural law is just what you form from using reason. I'm studying natural law right now. Christianity is according to revelation from God. Well, this has been building up for a long time, isn't it? I've been very complimentary of you, Lewis, but you're about to see just how easy it is to handle you, bro. You're about to see how easy it is for me to tear apart your worldview, man. I'm afraid you've grown too cocky. Because of the miracles of Christ. And because of the coming of revelation. People have been paying attention to the unfolding of predictions made in God's revelation. Because it's documented historically. Bro, do you have any idea what kind of a knuckle dragger you have to be to deny the historical Christ? This is discussed all the time, bro. You read some book like Phoenician Jesus or something that I read 5 or 6 years ago. Bro, it's historically documented. How do you know of the existence of Plato, Empedocles? This is all of the people in this list existed before Christ, hundreds of years. How do you know the existence of Aristotle, Empedocles, Heraclitus, Plato, Pythagoras? All those people lived before Christ, bro, so how are they documented? Huh? Are we biased? Why don't you question the existence of people who lived hundreds of years before Christ, bro? Answer my question. Pythagoras lived in 500 BC. Why do you accept historical documentation of someone who lived 500 years before Christ? Plato lived in 300 BC, 300 years before Christ. Your bias is blatant. You have a blatant bias. You straight out deny historical documentation when it's something that you don't like 500 years after you're not answering the question, bro. You are not answering the question. You asked me about historical Christ and you are now deflecting of what I am asking you. You have now deflected for 4 or 5 comments. The entire audience can see that you don't want to answer the question. Christ, 0 AD, Pythagoras, 500 BC. Christ, 0 AD, Plato, 300 BC. You are dodging the question. If your next comment doesn't answer the question, you're gone, dude. Because you got smeared. Objectively, as according to the objective rules of Aristotelian logic, you have objectively lost a debate to a Christian. So I suggest that you humble yourself, especially considering that, oh, you've read so much Neoplatonism and you've read Plato and you've read Vaishnavism. Well, you're not very humble, are you? So it's not really doing anything, is it? I'm tired of your holier than thou aura, bro. Be humble. Oh, so all history can be doubted. All right, bro. Well, you've had to reject all of history to defend your worldview, man. I don't reject all of history. I enjoy studying history. Intuition. So, like, you have to rely on your psychic powers to understand. Oh, so all of history can be written off, but the truth is inside of your imagination. Okay, I think we've heard enough, bro. I'm not going to ban you, but you've rejected all of history, bro. So we can't learn anything. So somebody who has a PhD in history, it's like, oh, you know what, dude? Well, I use my intuition. We can safely assume that maybe everything you believe is just lies. Am I doubting intuition? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I do not believe that you're psychic. If I had to go from your intuition versus documented history, I would look to documented history first. I think between denying all of documented history and denying intuition, I have much less of a problem, bro. I have much less of a problem denying intuition. It's not enough, man. I'm going off of the documentation rather than somebody's intuition. Yes, it can, bro. You see, there's better evidence for my tradition, is the thing. That's what it comes down to, Lewis. Like, you sound like a leftist. You seriously sound like a moral relativist. You sound like a moral relativist leftist. And your worldview is founded off of, we don't understand anything about history. I believe in history, just like your average scholar would. I'm not using ad hominem. It's not an ad hominem to call you a moral relativist. It's not an ad hominem to say that you have rejected history. You just rejected history. You told us that you don't believe in history. I don't think that my worldview is founded off of intuition. I've looked at the history, I've looked at the documentation, and I say, okay, we have the Gospels. We have things that support the Gospels, like Josephus and the writings of Pontius Pilate. We can see that there was these people, the Christians, who believed in the Gospels, suffered persecution under the Roman Empire. They were tortured, they were fed to the lions, and their faith did not go away. So they had a strong belief, and eventually their faith would overcome the Roman Empire. Christ said that the kingdom would fall. It did. The revelations of Christ came to be, and what came out of it was the Western Christian man who would spread out and dominate via the Crusades. Bro, I have rolled out the red carpet for your worldview. I have watched your videos. I have read your books. I have learned things from you. But you're not changing what I believe. And I'm sorry, dude. Like, I see this a lot with pagans. A debate is a debate. I see that you've read a lot of books about what you believe. But this is reality, bro. This is reality, man. You've rejected history in favor of your own intuition. That is like mystical, magical occultism. I'm not buying it, man. I'm not buying it. There's people subscribing to what I teach. I gotta defend it. And I have to be honest, it was quick, bro. It was quick and brutal. And that's the reality. That's the reality of Neoplatonism versus Christianity. We got a lot of writing, man. We have just the deepest pool of theological writings tracing back. Yeah, that's why mathematics is wrong. That's why mathematics is wrong, Lewis. Bro, I was where you are in 2016. That doesn't mean Christianity, like you're saying, oh, well, mathematics isn't objective, therefore Christianity's wrong. No. Bro, mathematics is, what's the word I'm looking for? Abstract. You're saying that because mathematics is abstract, Christianity isn't real. No, that means mathematics is abstract. You just explained why science can't be trusted. You literally just explained why science can't be trusted because it's abstract. I used to be where you are, bro. It's black magic. Right. Advanced mathematics is black magic, and we shouldn't trust it over revelation from God. Exactly my point, bro. Lewis, this... Yeah, history, bro. The history of our people. Where everything came from. Some fucking linear algebra calculus isn't gonna feed you, bro. It's not where we got laws. It's not where we got everything. Like, how do I even begin to explain this to you, man? You worship numbers. But you basically explained to us that you're Pythagorean and all these things. Like, you're a Neoplatonist. So you at least understand your worldview. There's so many people who also worship numbers, but they don't understand their worldview. You understand your worldview. Now it's time for you to understand that it's wrong. Oh, 20 plus 20 equals 40. Like, the square root of a negative number. I mean, the thing is like, what's the square root of -2? It's abstract. It's abstract. A negative number times a negative number is a positive number. A positive number times a positive number is also a positive number. So when you get to the square root of a negative number, it's going to be abstract. Mathematics is abstract. I don't reject all mathematics. I reject abstract mathematics. And I don't even reject that it has any use. But there is not a one-to-one correlation with physical reality and abstract mathematics. And this is where we get things like gravity, and this is where we get things like the spherical earth. And bro, this is where it becomes clear that you worship the number system of the elite and I worship the revealed God. History is real, math is an abstract concept. And I don't, you say you're a young man. I don't necessarily think that you're some elitist satanically shilling for the satanic worldview, but bro, I've talked to like dark Neoplatonists before. When I was into Neoplatonism and Pythagoreanism, I was into dark left-hand path spirituality. That's the worldview of the elite, bro. And I think we've seen a number of examples of it, like how you're suggesting that everybody deserves to be where they are. Lewis, you're... The worldview that you've outlined is, I don't know if it's necessarily... It's dark to say that everybody deserves what they have because of karma. That's dark. And then I pointed out the thing about the elite, but you don't answer anything I say, Lewis. What about the pedophile elite, bro? You never answered the question. You just keep spamming more stuff as I disprove everything you say, man. So what about Epstein? Why does he deserve to be a fucking multimillionaire when he has a pedophile island? You never answered the question, bro. You just spam more and more and more stuff. Some of the things you're saying, like you just said, language is abstract. Where do I even begin with that, man? We agree upon language, okay? We are able to use language. Language functions. It's a red herring, bro. When you say language is abstract to make up for the fact that mathematics is abstract, I'm not trying to appeal to the existence of language to write off Christianity. It's a confusing red herring. A red herring is like you throw it. Okay, the reason they call it a red herring is because you throw a red herring to like send an animal off in a different direction. So I have to like deal with this confusing argument like, oh, language is abstract. It's a red herring, bro. Language is agreed upon. People understand language. I would never say language, therefore Christianity isn't real, like you're saying about mathematics. You're so overconfident, Lewis. Look, Lewis, at this point, I just have to make it clear that the debate has ended when you denied history. You've denied history, bro. At this point, we're doing the debate on training wheels. You're arguing just like Dyer. Dude, that's... What kind of an argument is that, bro? What kind of an argument is that? No, I'm not, Lewis. Bro, Lewis, you're literally crying in chat now. You've denied history. You've admitted that even though mathematics is abstract, that it leads your worldview. How does language lead my worldview? So you're throwing language out the window now, bro. Okay, let's do it like this. So you've denied history and language to support your worldview. We literally can't know anything, bro. We're fucking blind. We can't communicate. We are dumb, deaf, and blind now to support your worldview because you love mathematics so much. Gödel! You dropped Gödel's theorem like we're all supposed to. Gödel's model is so impressive. That's what it all is, bro. You're literally science. How dare you stand against science? I stand with history. I stand with my forefathers, with my ancestors, with Christian advanced men of the West who crafted the way for science, who crafted the way for peace, who crafted the way for the modern world. That's what I stand with, and you stand with Gödel. How dare you stand in the face of Gödel's theorem? It means nothing, bro. He's some skinny, autistic man who sat in a bedroom all fucking day and worshipped pagan horseshit just like you. I'm sure it's good for something, man. I didn't say that mathematics is meaningless. See, now you're showing that you don't know what abstract means. Now you've displayed that you think that abstract is the same as meaningless. And now you're displaying your inability to understand the term abstract. I'm not saying calculus isn't good for anything. It's not God, bro. Calculus isn't God. We shouldn't be following calculus. Calculus shouldn't be leading us into the future because it's abstract. The revelation of God is not abstract. Our forefathers and our ancestors recently, when compared to Plato and Pythagoras, have witnessed miracles and documented the miracles, and those miracles steered Western history. And we have every reason to believe in them. Lewis, you've been demolished on all fucking fronts, bro. I knew that this day would come. I've been very complimentary of your worldview. I knew that you would try to stand against me, and you've been dominated in front of all of my audience. I was never threatened by you, man. I watched all the videos. I enjoyed some of it, but I knew this day would come. I don't know. What does everybody in the audience think, bro? Audience, 1 if I won, 2 if Lewis won. Let's give it to a vote. I've torn apart everything you've said, bro. You denied history. You denied language. You displayed that you don't know what abstract means. It's over, bro. You're suggesting that we should all listen to you and your intuition. You in your room with your psychic intuition powers. We should bow down to your intuition and throw out all the history books. We should throw out all the history books. Somebody like you, given power, you'd say, history isn't real. Okay, what if we gave you the ring, bro? What happens when you wear the ring from Lord of the Rings? We can't rely on history. Burn the history books. The thousands of years of Christian history, they're liars. They're all liars. Look at Gödel. Look at Gödel's theorem. Look at how amazing it is. Burn the history books. They're liars. We have my intuition, and we have Gödel's theorem. Bow to the science. You are the worldview of the elite, and it's dangerous. But you're sitting here explaining how we can't rely on history. So given the chance, you'd say, oh, I've used my intuition, and we can't rely on history. It's problematic. It's problematic for you Christians to rely on your thousands of years of scholarship. And when I tear apart one of your arguments, Lewis, you just go on to the next one. You are a young man who lives with his parents. You should be humbled. I think you need some time to think about this, Lewis. And now you're circular, and now you're circling around back to what you've already said, which I've already refuted. And now you're going in circles, Lewis. Now you can't accept I have not made any ad hominems, bro. You're that fucking autist who doesn't know logic, bro. I've just used logic and rhetoric and citations to completely tear apart your worldview. And now you're like, ad hominem attack! Bro, I've defeated you using logic and rhetoric and citations. I've shown that my worldview is on the side of philosophy. I did not listen to my intuition to determine my tradition. You are making the assumption that everything that is labeled tradition deserves equal respect inherently. It was ultimately an understanding of history and philosophy that led me to my worldview. I did not use my intuition. I didn't say, oh my gosh, it's so hard. Hinduism and Christianity and Islam, they're all traditions. I'm going to use my psychic intuition to choose Christianity. It was a decision informed by history, philosophy. It was a valiant effort, Lewis. Okay? I'm not trying to insult you, but you want to bash your worldview against mine. This all started by you saying, oh, well, everybody has what they deserve because of karma. And you've yet to give an answer for why Epstein deserved to be a millionaire, bro. You dodged every single question. You dragged your feet every step of the way because right out the gate, you're like, everybody deserves what they have because of karma. Why is Epstein the pedophile a millionaire? And you ran. And you drug your feet because I immediately, effortlessly poked holes in your worldview. And you're attached to it, but oh, they're so smart. And that's what it comes down to, bro. That's why you waved Gödel in our face. Gödel's theorem. It sounds smart. It sounds so smart. Epstein is only fucking himself spiritually through his actions. But you said we all deserve what we have because of karma. So why did he deserve what he had? Because of something that can't be proven. Because of his past life. That let's just all assume that he did this or that in his past life, bro. It's a knuckle-dragging, pagan worldview that was dominated by Christianity because it was superior. We lived in mud huts with nothing as pagans. And then, with Christianity, we created all of the advanced science that we have today. The advanced Western way of life came from a superior worldview. Not a worldview where pagan gods, not a worldview where the gods rape their sisters. Not a worldview where people worship Zeus, the literal sister raper. A worldview where we worship the one God who set humanity on a path towards civility, towards reason. You want to say that the Christian God is evil when you worship a sister raper in Zeus. Lewis, I've already torn apart everything you've said. The debate is over. The debate is over, bro. You're still trying when the debate ended a long time ago. It's training wheels. Okay, well, what about this? Rip, 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 rip. Okay, well, what about this? Rip, 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 rip. What about this? Rip, 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 rip. How many chances do you get, bro? How many lives do you get? How many new arguments do you get to create? I've torn apart everything you've said. You're flipping through your packet. Oh, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? I haven't had to do that once. You couldn't get 1 point off on me. You couldn't get 1 point off on me. You're obsessed with this. I'm not obsessed with anything. Christianity's still here, bro. I got some news for you, bro. Christianity's still here. There's a dividing line being drawn. Modernity is trying to dominate Christianity. We're still here, bro. We're still here. Dude, I'm cringing when you're trying to sound like Mr. Philosophy and Reason. You got completely dominated, bro. And now you're just... Now you're trying to look smart, is what you're trying to do. But you lost every single step of the way. I have not made any assumptions. I've torn apart every single argument you've made, bro. You said that you deny history. You deny history, bro. You favor your psychic intuition over history. If you were a dictator, we would be tearing apart the books and following your intuition. You're fucking John Smith of Mormonism. We can't trust the history books. Follow my intuition. It's over, dude. I'm not being a sophist. I've torn apart everything you've said, bro. And the reason that debates stop after you lose and you don't correct your argument is because of what you're doing right now. And if anything, this is the mistake that I've made in the past. You have 10 sets of training wheels now. I beat you on every single point, and you just keep going. You just, what about this? What about this? What about that? Bro, you lost a long time ago. You lost when you denied history. You lost when you appealed to abstract, advanced mathematics like Gödel. You have lost over and over and over and over again. And you have had the liberty of not having to attempt to continue defending that worldview. We've moved on from you denying history. We've moved on from you appealing to abstract mathematics. We keep moving on to your new point. It's over, bro. It's over. No, you've objectively lost the debate as according to Aristotelian logic, bro. Any illusion that you were some sort of a wise yogi is gone, bro. You're just an illogical child. So all of that Neoplatonic meditation and contemplation you're doing, it's not good for anything. All the hours of contemplative meditation that you're doing, it amounted to you getting effortlessly handled in a debate with a Christian, bro. That's all it amounted to. All it amounted to is a Christian effortlessly handled you, bro. So you might want to rethink your worldview, bro. You denied history, I embraced it. And exactly what you've posited is exactly what pagans are trying to do. Ignore your ancestors, they're all knuckle draggers. They're all liars. Your ancestors are liars. Forget about history. Reject the history of your people. I embrace it. I embrace my history. You either know that you're in line with the elite or you don't, bro. Look at Gödel. Look at the numbers. Oh, mathematics is abstract. Language is abstract. That's a semantics game. Rationalists account for God in language. Like, are you trying to suggest that language, therefore, not a Christian God? Like, come on, man. You're playing semantics. You're throwing red herrings. Oh, this will trip him up. This will trip him up. This will trip him up. Watch him try to deal with this. Oh, language is abstract. It's only a matter of time, bro. It's only a matter of time. If anything, you've thrown a smoke bomb so you can get away. Ha ha! Language is abstract. Watch him try to deal with this. I don't worship language. I don't worship language, but we use language to communicate. What do we use mathematics for? Mathematics is guiding us towards the new world religion. And it shouldn't be. Mathematics does not have a mind of its own. I don't know. But that's it. You're dismissed, Lewis. I've already studied every channel that you put forward. What have you studied that I have to offer here? I've learned from you. What have you learned from me? Nothing. You're putting your head in the sand, bro. I've learned from you, but you're too high and mighty to learn from me. Clearly, your ego's not dissolved. Exactly. He says it's pointless after spending 30 minutes seeing what will stick. Oh, well, how about this? No. How about this? No. How about this? No. Bro, the minute that your argument meets a dead end, it's over. This is what happens with every non-Christian I come across, dude. And I need to stop because it's the mistake that I've made. It's allowing you to just, what about this? Destroyed. What about this? Destroyed. What about this? It's over. I keep giving you opportunities to try to make me look bad. And it's just over, bro. When you're comparing mathematics to language, that's a very interesting thing to think about. But think about how we use mathematics and think about how we use language. You don't have to deny language to be a Christian. And ultimately, you don't have to deny mathematics either. I'm taking the hard road, bro. I'm taking the hard road. I mean, when we're talking about mathematics being abstract, I'm talking about gravity, space. You don't have to deny that stuff to be a Christian. I'm playing hard mode, dude. By the way, Rampage Jackson just came out as a space denier. Fucking Rampage Jackson, dude. We should get him over here, man. Literal Tyrone Rampage Jackson. But, you know, there's people in my chat who say that they don't necessarily deny space. That's fine, bro. There's all kinds of Christians who don't even, like, deny advanced abstract mathematics. But, low-key, that's the elite Pythagorean worldview trying to seep in and combine with Christianity, bro. That video that I posted yesterday from that channel, What If History, where he's talking about the failures of education, that's the arrogance of our times. That we have nothing to learn from our ancestors, bro. We all fucking stare at pornography on our iPhones while our ancestors were living a high way of life that we can't understand. Western guys. I'm loving Aristotle, by the way. Loving Aristotle, by the way. You know, I'll still want to get through Plato's dialogues, but... And in this book that I'm reading, Written on the Heart, these people are, like, very complimentary to, like, Thomas Aquinas. They're talking about places where Thomas Aquinas, like, improved on Aristotle. Scholasticism in the Catholic Church. And this is a rabbit hole that I haven't really gone down yet. I'm going down it now, bro. Is the Platonic Christianity superior, or is the scholastic Aristotelian Thomas Aquinas Catholicism better? And ultimately what Rick was saying is that the scholasticism is superior, kind of in line. It's the idea that, like, a lot of the points that Southern Israelite makes really are traditional Catholic. It's like traditional Catholic scholasticism that kind of gets its head out of the clouds. It becomes less idealistic and more material and more reasonable. Christianity is more reasonable, bro. See, this is the perfect example, okay? People are saying, like, oh, Christians, like, have their head in the clouds and they deny reality, they deny science. You just witnessed a pagan denying history. And you just witnessed a Christian appealing to historical scholarship. I just said, bro, you're, like, talking about being psychic and ripping up history books. I'm talking about scholarship. I'm talking about, like, books and the things that scholars know about. And scholars do not deny the existence of Christ overwhelmingly. He's trying to say, how can you know Christ was real? Then I'm like, how can you know Pythagoras was real? Oh, well, we have to use our intuition. Well, then you answered your own question, bro. You see, he contradicted himself in ways. He's trying to appeal to... But his argument is that you have to choose a tradition with intuition. I disagree. The scholarship points towards Christ. And by the way, guys, academia was not always corrupt. The Rockefeller academia, this is covered, by the way, in that video I posted. He says that our current school system was designed to chug out factory workers. And they haven't changed it. The Rockefeller education system is designed to chug out factory workers. Thank you, my friends. As a Catholic, I'm partial to scholasticism, but I'm not learned in that regard. And I have a great respect. And by the way, Rick also said that he identified as an Augustine for the most part, or as an Augustinian. So it's time for me to, like, study this thing on my own, you guys. It's about time for me to go down that rabbit hole. That gives me a really good idea of what I want to start studying. I need to start diving into Thomas Aquinas, scholasticism. I'm actually reading the Confessions of Augustine right now, but I kind of lost my steam on that. But neither is bad. You know, neither is bad. And it says something, you know, that we look through the lens of the Greeks. We take Christian theology and we put it through this Greek lens. But I would definitely say because it's not like I don't know anything about it. Plato had some ideas that are clearly very Eastern. Plato's philosophy, as we can see from Lewis, he's a Platonist and he's a pagan. And he was saying that Aristotle has to be put through the lens of Plato. He doesn't like Aristotle. Aristotle fits very well with Catholicism, scholasticism. So I'm not talking smack about my priest here, but he says that he hasn't even really studied much Thomas Aquinas. He's very Augustinian. But, as you can see on my channel, I'm talking about some mysticism now. I'm saying, hey, I think Christians can meditate. I think the world is pushing us inward. I don't think there's anything wrong with a Christian alone contemplating, doing some sort of mystical practice, which Southern Israelite very violently pushes away from, which Protestants push away from. I thought he had a decent point that's worth looking into, that, you know, the scholasticism maybe was kind of a stepping stone towards Protestantism, but I've never heard that before, and I'll bet I could see how that's misled, but it's just like, you gotta be confident in what you believe, guys. And none of this, you see, I think that I saw it in a lot of the way he was communicating, and I was pointing it out. He wants to sound smart. That's not why I study my worldview. I want to have faith in Christ, and I want to strengthen, because it's like, if I'm wrong, I'd be like, wow, I'm wrong. I should be a neoplatonist. That's the thing. And I used to be a neoplatonist, kind of. I used to be a pagan. I gave up my worldview to better reasoning. Once upon a time, I got smeared by theologians, and I gave up, and I surrendered, and I put down my sword, and then I became skilled in the ways of their debate and their rhetoric, and now I'm nice with the sword, because this is